And we're live. That's
Hello, everyone.
Hello. All right, Brian. So if you can man the chat, I think we are ready to go. We just got to count down to record.
Un momento. All right.
All right. So 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
Are you recording? I'm recording.
Yes, I am recording.
Oops. All right.
Although in the wrong spot.
You look like you're in the same spot as you're always in, Brian.
Yeah, it feels like that some days.
All right. Are we ready? Because I can start.
I am ready.
All right. Hello and welcome. My name is Tim Shank.
And I'm Brian McAvoy. This is a platform for digital identity, authentication, cryptography, and secured on device.
I'm still really eager to get my Flex One. I think the ability to do encryption in vivo is really exciting. Now these are implantable silicone implanted smart card implants. I'm going to start to say that again. Sure. These are silicone coated smart card implants that interact with devices via NFC.
All of my implants right now are either glass or silicone implanted. Excuse me. All of my implants are either glass or silicone coated. So these are a couple of time tested coatings for implants, and it's the same for most of the grinder implants we see.
Well, this will be my first silicone. These will be my first silicone implanted silicone. Oh man, these. All right.
Man, we are having a case of the weekends.
Yeah. This will be my first silicone coated implant. All the others I have are either glass or titanium nitrate in the case of my M31 magnet.
Brian. Is he there?
To Brian.
Oh,
Brian.
Tim, can you hear me?
One of our connections is no good.
Okay.
You kind of cut out every once in a while, and then now I guess I'm cutting out. So, yeah, we're talking about magnets, Brian. We're ready to roll.
I have one of those.
You have a magnet?
Yes.
Okay.
How
many magnets you got, Brian? How many?
I have one magnet inside of me, and throughout my house in all my project containers and all the projects I've made, I have approximately 3.6 billion quadrillion, because magnets are now the magnets that are currently available, because today we are talking about the implants for grinders that are currently available. These are stuff you can find on a website or in a piercing gallery, and something you can get right now. These are state of the art for grinders as of early October 2018. So these do not include things like something your friend made or something a certain channel to get it through. This is available. So the magnet I have, which was my very first implant, is a silicone-coated Hayworth magnet, which I got from a piercer, a local piercer, who just happened to stock magnets, and I found out that he was in a county where it was legal to do implants.
Where do you have that, Brian? That's in the side of your finger, isn't it?
That is in my left ring finger.
Not in the pad?
Nope, it's off to the side.
Off to the side. Makes sense.
Oh, hold on. Hey, since we're doing video, I can totally show off for the first time ever, like where that magnet precisely is. Because I'm in a room where I just have magnets sitting around. I can actually say that in just about every room of my house.
Yeah, now the magnet I have is an M31, and I'll show to our video people, so we'll cut this out. But it's right here in the side of my hand. I chose right there because of the amount of sensors, kinetic sensors we have in the side of our hand. There's a lot. So that's the only one I have. The M31 is not something you can get anymore.
Right. Yeah, that was discontinued. There was just troubles with the coating. Nobody's been able to get a highly reliable way of coating magnets or excuse me, no one's been able to successfully and reliably coat magnets with titanium nitride. At least
Right.
not with a low enough failure rate to be
right.
worth implanting.
Yeah, and I got lucky, and mine is totally fine. I mean, there's no when a magnet turns, you'll see black, right, Brian? You'll see color in the skin.
Because I had an M31, and I purchased that through online retailer, and it got to me and everything. So I implanted it, and when it failed, my skin just it surrounded itself with scar tissue. So my body isolated it from the rest of me, and so my fingers where that one was installed, and a magnet won't stick there now. But it just became hard, and I lost some sense of feeling because of all the scar tissue building up underneath.
Okay, but the neodymium, it didn't start dissolving inside your body, because I've heard that's
it totally did.
Okay.
My body surrounded it with scar tissue rather than the some people's reaction were
I don't
like you said, the skin. I think I just lost you for a moment there because you went quiet.
Yeah, you as far as I can tell, I don't know which of us is having the issue. But no, you stop there as long as you got it recorded. Sorry, people on YouTube, whatever glitches you're seeing there. Anyway,
but since Tim and I, to everyone who's going, oh crap, they're going to screw up the show. Those poor guys. We feel so bad for you. I don't think anyone feels that way. But we're recording independently on our side offline, so that our recording that we publish on our website, twocyborgs.com, is going to be nice and clean audio. So all the stuff that I'm saying right now, we won't hear it later.
None of it. So that's the extent of what we both have for magnets. I wish I could get another M31. I don't know if that's ever in the cards, but I'd like to have one in the other hand too, because I use it. I want to use those to integrate with other devices, and I have one that I've built, but I want more. So I'd like to have both hands be able to integrate with various devices someday. Maybe I can just take all of the potentially bad M31s off of everybody's hands. Feel free to send them my way, and I'll do some testing and experimenting on my own to find which ones are good. So now beyond that, we have RFID, right? There's a lot of RFID implants available.
Yes, that's a rich field of implantables. So I guess let's just work our way through maybe popularity or how long they've been used.
Up to you.
So, okay. So let's start with the 125 kilohertz RFIDs. Now these are typically ones of which just contain a serial number. The most basic form of these, the serial number is hard-coded, and it is what it is. A lot
just like the tags you put in your dogs.
Different, actually, for a few reasons. Now, slightly different protocol and different frequency. So the low frequency, which we're talking about, the ones that simply have a serial number, some of them are rewritable. You can put a new serial number in there. Great, but it's the same flavor. A reader will not know the difference if it's a writable or rewritable unless it asks. Excuse me. So we can get these from a few different retailers where they sell them inside of glass, dangerousthings.com. One of the places to get those. And yes, I have a low frequency RFID in the knife edge of my left hand. And mine is a rewritable one.
All right. Well, my RFID, and I do have a low frequency. It's in the web of my left hand. It's the first implant I got, actually. And I don't actually use it anymore.
I use mine to get into my hack space mainly. And I still enjoy being able to walk up to the door and just boop with my bare hand.
I work in some bigger office buildings, and we have those cards, to get in and out. And I keep on trying to talk our guy into letting me use my implant. He refused. So far, I'm not allowed to. So I'm gonna try to sway the company and get us everybody implants so that he has to let me use mine.
It. That seems like a good tact. I'd be down, man. If my employer was like, "Hey, yeah, we'll pay for you to get a security implant," well, I guess my reaction would be like, "All right, there's that." But yeah, I'd say, "Yeah, stick it in my hand. Let's do this."
Yeah.
Not everyone feels that way. So you'd mentioned the pet ones. Now those operate at 134.2 kilohertz, which is a little higher frequency. And those pet chips, they have a whole bunch of infrastructure built around them where you register your pet's ID tag. And I don't know that I've ever seen one of those. And so basically those just have a serial number. That serial number corresponds to the database. So when you scan and it spits out 20 digits of hex, it goes, yes, that's Fluffy from Minneapolis. And it's approximately a 16-pound, and it's old as of this date. There is one neat trick with pet RFIDs, which unfortunately they work at that weird frequency, so it's hard to get readers for them, but they do have ones with temperature sensors integrated. So most pets don't like having their temperature taken. So since this thing is inside, they figure it's a great place to put in a thermometer. It was a great place to put a thermometer, so they did. And logs temperature just by scanning them with the pet scanner wand.
Yeah, I've seen temperature ones available from Dangerous Things as well.
Oh, they have one now there.
Yes,
I did not know
on
that.
his website, and it's a good opportunity, right, for us right now to mention
very cool
that Dangerous Things is one of our sponsors.
Yeah, Dangerous Things, one of our sponsors. Custom gadgetry for the discerning biohacker. You can find cutting-edge implantable technology and the equipment to support it. Like we just mentioned, Tim and I both have implants from Dangerous Things. Like we both have the XNT NFC tags, which we'll get to in a moment. Tim uses his to open his front door, and I pass my contact information at places like cons and stuff without having to use paper, and people don't spell my last name incorrectly.
All right. So yeah, with my XNTs, I have two of them. One of them I carry contact information, and the other one right now, they both open my door. They both unlock my computer, and they both unlock only one of them unlocks my phone. But another thing I have on there is I have a cryptocurrency wallet address, so it doesn't actually hold the cryptocurrency. The new Vivo key will actually hold cryptocurrency in cold storage with some development necessary to make that happen. But I have one of mine. If you have a Bitcoin wallet on my, Echo's going to chime in here and tell us what she thinks about whatever I'm saying. But but one of the things I have on my on one of my XNTs is a transaction. So I put a Bitcoin transaction in case somebody ever wants to tip me in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. They can tap their phone to my hand and it'll initiate a transaction for $5 or something like that with a Bitcoin.
Very cool. Hey, that's a cool way to accept cyborg donations.
Yeah. If you like what you see, you just tap your phone and I'll take your $5. Hey. So that also actually that we do have a sponsor that does do blockchain. So one of our sponsors, and we should bring them up now, is let me get to that. We have it all written out. Sorry guys, whoever's watching on our live stream. So that does bring up one of our other sponsors, Blockpool, real world blockchain solutions for business using the Bit, which is a custom API interface to interact directly with legacy applications and databases. Blockpool enables a level of integration that was previously impossible. Visit blockpool.io to learn more. Wow, did that sound salesy? I didn't like it.
Really?
I feel a little dirty, but you keep that. Yeah, I don't know about the sales thing, but yeah. Visit blockpool.io to learn more. Anyway. We can just move on
within the next 20 seconds.
All right, let's move on. So we were talking about XNT, right? Brian?
NFC tags, those are currently available. They Dangerous Things carries those. I think there's at least there's a couple other Dangerous Things has an overseas website that is a little different, but it's one of their popular stuff from outside of the United States.
Interesting. I've never been to their international site. I'll have to check it out.
I can't remember. I think maybe it's just somebody else who stocks their stuff and sells it to avoid shipping delays or something. I could be wrong.
Okay, so aside from these more common and we're not owned, but we don't want to go too far into, Dangerous Things sponsors us, but there's other suppliers that are out there. You have the Firefly, right?
Yes, cybereyes.me. They do the glow in the dark. I can't show you because it's the glow from the computer screen would be a little too bright, but I have in my left hand one of the largest implant I have, and it glows in the dark. And the biggest function I found, other than conversation piece, is I was in a hotel room one time at DEF CON 26, and I was like, oh crap, I can't find the bathroom. And I know that there are light colored walls and a dark colored door frame. And so I was able to wave my hand around and find exactly where the door was. So I didn't bump into anything and wake up all my roommates.
You were navigating by the light of your implant.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Brian. That's great. I wasn't going to get that one because it wasn't bright enough. I didn't see it to do any, as being something I wanted. But now that I know that you can use it that way.
It's not super bright.
But they have a new Firefly out, don't they? Is that brighter?
Not really. I've seen the two side by side. It's hard to I don't know which one is which, even though seeing them right next to each other. I don't know if anyone wants to chime in about their experiences with Fireflies.
How many people have
probably one? I mean, like their implants, they're not the most functional, but they're fun. They're cool. And as a conversation piece, that's a big function for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I may still get one of those someday, but I think they need to brighten it up.
That is the plan, I believe, to make them brighter. I think you said ideally they would be visible at like in a rave, and you'd just be able to glance over and be like, oh, hey, that person's skin is glowing, even though there's, it's dark-ish in the room.
Mm-hmm. Well, that would be cool because then you could get multiples and do all sorts of fun stuff.
Right.
It's like if you ever, but then you're never going to go to a movie theater again. Just make people.
Depends where it is. I don't know, man. If I had one that bright in my chest, Iron Man style, I just wear a shirt when I didn't want people to know, and I'd flash people when I wanted to know what I was sporting under there.
All right.
I don't know if I'd get any Mardi Gras beads. A little fuzzy.
So, what other implants can we talk about? Is there anything else out there? I mean, there's the temperature sensing RFID.
Well, it kind of gets outside the realm of what's strictly implantable. There's Cyborgs Nest, which we've mentioned here before. Now, the problem is Cyborgs Nest, they make something called the North Sense, and it's not actually an implant. It's a weird mix of wearable. Yes, it's attached by piercings. You get a couple surface piercings, and I think they recommend the chest. So you get 2 surface piercings, which gives you 4 mounting posts, and this device hooks onto those mounting posts essentially and holds itself on your chest. When you face straight north, it vibrates. And the beauty of that device is in its simplicity. That's all it does. It's a single purpose device, and it's supposed to do that well. And the people who have worn it, mostly the creators I've heard speak about it, say great things about it, but it is not an implant.
Right. But, and it's very expensive. Did the price come down on those at all?
Oh, God. I don't think so. I think they even discontinued it, so it doesn't really belong on this show.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, kind of worth mentioning because it's at least people. Steve Hayworth, I believe, is one of the Steve Hayworth is one of the creators of that. So I think maybe it's more of an intention to say, hey, look, we've got something that can add a new sense to humans. And he's a big enough name that he can promote something like that and hopefully make that visible and known to more people so that eventually people go, oh yeah, you have a magnet in your finger? Cool. I heard about people adding senses to themselves before. That's neat. Instead of, oh, get that face from people.
Well, that's kind of what it's all about, is adding capability. So that's really exciting. It's too bad that they, if they did discontinue them, that's too bad.
I believe so.
Should have been something.
I hope it means that they're moving on to the next phase.
Maybe so. Yeah. Get that in
a lot of the people, if you've seen people with shapes under their skin, like I've seen people with the Triforce on the back of their hand, or they'll put a gear under their hand and they're made of silicone. Oftentimes, maybe every time, those are Steve Hayworth creations. Right. So super cool.
Yep.
Now, the last thing I want to talk about is not an implant, but it's the stuff we use to perform the implants. And these are things like lidocaine, injectable lidocaine for performing numbing of the area where you are performing an implant. Because when you cut into yourself with a scalpel, which you also probably want to buy pre-sterilized unless you own an autoclave, it hurts. It causes significant pain, and people have done it without any painkiller. For example, where Tim and I live, you don't get painkillers when you get a magnet. And the idea of somebody doing their own finger magnet without painkiller, no way.
I think people do it, but I can't imagine. I mean, I've had all my implants. I've never had any kind of anesthesia at all for them. And I have to go to like a Zen place when they're cutting you with a scalpel and all that. You kind of have to you find a happy place to sit that out for a while, and the worst part about it is the stitches. So a lot of times, and one thing that I would do without any kind of, I would do it on myself, is using the syringes that a lot of these implants come in, the little 2 millimeter glass tags. That is much easier. But as far as the stitches and all that, yeah, you have to. I find a happy place. It's not actually that bad. I mean, you've cut yourself in the kitchen and it hurt just as bad as this. But to sit there and just allow that to happen, and it's not just a quick thing, it's a process. Yeah, so I can get why people use lidocaine. I never have, but I can totally understand it. My wife, she did get some. They used Novocaine, and she seemed to appreciate that. She didn't seem to have to go to the happy place that I did, that I always do. And so it's funny because my guy who does this, he's been doing implants for a long time, and I always just kind of calm my mind and kind of stare off into space. I look at a picture and he's always like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And yeah, I'm totally fine. I mean, it's just the way I handle it, And it's not like I'm gonna pass out or have any problems or run away screaming or anything like that. I'm just kind of zoning out on purpose as I go through this, just so that I don't need to pay attention. Actually, the last one though,
it's a good plan.
Yeah, the last one though, I did. I deliberately chose because I think the last one I was on the news and they were recording it right there. So they were talking to me about it, and they were like, "Oh, so he's putting the scalpel in there," and it's a little hard to kind of ignore it and go off to a mental happy place or whatever when people are asking you directly while you're on camera what they're doing. So you kind of have to be engaged at that point. But it was no problem. I mean, it's not that painful. I mean, it's not painful, but it's not that bad.
And lidocaine's availability varies by place to place. I don't know. It's clearly legal in some places in America, and using it on yourself, I believe, is just straight up legal. Certainly where we live. because I've looked into that. But in other places, that law may vary. So please look into that before you endanger yourself or anyone else. So there's something to keep in mind. So we talked about scalpels, the like. Also, for grinding would be things like a finger tourniquet, so that you don't have blood gushing out of your finger the whole time. Gloves should go without saying. Yes, disinfectants.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing this yourself, I mean, sterilization is absolutely key. I mean, there's all kinds of things floating around. There's different funguses and spores from molds and all this stuff. And most of the time, you're probably finding the younger you are, you might be better at fighting off stuff like this. But some of that stuff, I mean, like flesh-eating bacteria, it's out there. It's floating around everywhere we are. Just the wrong situation can cause big problems, big problems.
Yep.
So
for
sterilization
sure.
always sterilization.
Disinfect thoroughly.
Yeah.
So things like using clean gloves, it's important. And for example, Dangerous Mind sells a pain management kit. They sell a magnet implant kit, or just any kind of implant kit that comes with
Brian?
Dangerous Things.
Okay, you said Dangerous Minds, which is a very a quality podcast on stuff like this too. So check them out. But yes. Dangerous Things sells that.
Yep. Yes, that's true. You caught me. I inadvertently advertised.
That's fine. They're good. They're good guys.
They are. They're all good guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the medical stuff: sterile blankets, sheets, wipes, sutures, stitching material, Steri-strips. All that stuff is stuff that we use, and a lot of this stuff can be ordered just online on Amazon, and you get a quality product that.
Yeah, I think
stuff surgeons use.
Yeah, and I think that where the line is drawn where we are, and I think this is probably pretty common, is that it's illegal for somebody to perform medical procedures on others. You can perform medical procedures on yourself at will, at least where we are, and I think that's pretty common. That if you decide you need to inject, as long as it's not a controlled substance, you're allowed to do that to yourself. You're just not allowed to do that to somebody else. That would require a doctor. And if you're not a doctor or a nurse, don't do it, because you could come back and I think the regulations and the consequences for something like that are pretty stiff.
Yep. Know your laws, because no, we don't want anyone to get in trouble.
No, don't get in trouble. All right, so I think that's it, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Did we miss any? Is there
Thank
any
you, everyone.
News? Okay, go on. Sorry
for listening. I'm hoping we can make this a yearly thing. Hopefully next year there will be more to talk about, and we will be able to talk about this once a year. Fingers crossed.
You know what we missed, Brian?
What did we miss, Tim?
Oh, Brian, we had our mid-roll, so we didn't talk about Patreon, and we talked about Blockpool in the middle of it. I'd like you to, yeah, I know we got out of order here. So let's talk about Patreon, because did we talk about Patreon? I think we did. I'm lost.
No.
Okay. You guys,
I don't think we did.
We need patrons. We have, if you go to our website, twocyborgs.com, you'll find the link to Patreon. Our patrons, they help us cover our operating costs. We have hosting and fees and things like that, but also it helps us reach out to the community, to help to do some promotion, to bring other people, raise awareness for our podcast to other people and what we're doing. So please go check us out. Whether it's $1 or $5, it doesn't matter. We appreciate every bit of support, and every bit does go right back into the podcast and reaching out to a greater community to help people be aware of biohacking and what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the more people we bring in, they become the virtual neighbors in our grinder community. Plus, if you do, we've got exclusive content, including things like outtakes and blooper reels. If it's dumb, like some of the stuff we've said in this live cast, we just cut that out. But we'll deliver you the funny stuff. If you want to become a supporter, please check out our website, twocyborgs.com, and find the Patreon link.
All right, so now let's exit.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'd like to invite everyone to email us at cyborgs@twocyborgs.com, or you can shoot either of us an email for tim@twocyborgs.com or for me, Brian@twocyborgs.com.
Two Cyborgs is also sponsored by Blockpool. Two Cyborgs is also sponsored by Blockpool, real-world blockchain solutions for business, using Bit, a custom API interface to interact with legacy applications and databases. Blockpool enables a level of integration that was previously impossible. Check them out at blockpool.io. And you'll find links to all of our sponsors on our website, twocyborgs.com. And you can use the number 2 or spell it out. If you go there, make sure you visit our store where you can get our custom branded items, including hooded sweatshirts, drinkware, and more. Chink. All right. This is Tim Shank, and I am currently drinking out of one of our Two Cyborgs and a Microphone branded coffee cups.
As am I. This is Brian McAvoy. You've been listening to Two Cyborgs and a Microphone, brought to you by a couple cyborgs who have sexy, sexy mugs. Get it?
Like, follow, share, and don't forget to subscribe on any of the popular podcast services, including Google Play Music, iTunes, and Stitcher. Help us move up the podcast ladder by subscribing and commenting on iTunes.
Ooh, subliminal messages. I heard commenting. Yeah, so commenting on iTunes is something that when it promotes us, this is what helps draw in new people. And these are the new people who become our virtual neighbors and come into grinding with fresh ideas. And you can also find us on Twitter at Two Cyborgs. Now, before we go, we do have a question on YouTube, which I suppose this is going to end up in our Patreon exclusive stuff because we missed it. So one thing we forgot to mention, which is out there, is purlin magnets. Now, these are ones that are a kind of a rubbery plastic coating, and these magnets are fairly inexpensive. They were some of the first, if not the first, magnet implants. So purlin is bioinert, and it's a fairly tough coating, and you can buy them from just regular online magnet retailers. And people have been using those for a long time. And just even though things like the silicone Hayworth magnets are available, or magnets from Sampa von Cyborg, some people still choose to go with these because of the low cost of entry. So thank you, Cyberlab.
Thank you. All right. So you think you can do something with that, Brian? All right, I'm going to stop my recording here. 1, 2, 3, stop. All right, I think that'll be a good one. I'm going to end the broadcast. Thank you all for listening in. Make sure you subscribe on the podcast services, because that's where you get the prime product, not all this riffraff.